The following program is presented by the Tacoma School of the Arts and is solely responsible for its content. Produced in cooperation with KBTC Public Television, Bates Technical College, and a grant from the PBS NewsHour Student Reporting Labs.
Chatterbox.
Hi, welcome to Chatterbox. This is a dual production between KBTC and Tacoma School of the Arts. I am Mia Holt. I am a junior from Tacoma School of the Arts.
I'm Rosie Sanchez. I'm a senior from Tacoma School of the Arts.
And my name's Kelly. I'm also a senior. So today we have Yoshiko Yamamoto as a guest. We're really happy to have you here. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you so much for inviting me.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I live in Tacoma and I work in downtown Tacoma also. But I'm originally from Japan, Tokyo, Japan. And I came to the US about 28 years ago and settled in California, did some schooling there, and then moved to the state of Washington about 20 years ago. So since then, I've been working here as a block print artist, a traditional kind of printing. And that's what I do for a living. And then I have a small studio here with two wonderful assistants who work with me.
Awesome. So since you deal with painting and you deal with a lot of colors on the daily, since the arts and crafts movement also has a variety of color palettes, I would like to ask you, what's your favorite color palette to use?
It's a hard one because I love colors, but I think one thing that you mentioned, arts and crafts, is a key phrase for what we do, because the name of the company that we have is the Arts and Crafts Press. And Arts and Crafts Press refers to the movement that happened in the late 19th century and early 20th century in America, as well as England, all over, basically, in the world. And that was a movement to try to sort of blend the handwork with the machine work that was taking over the human life. So anyway, going back to that, the arts and crafts palette, the kind of things that were advocated back then for the colors were muted colors, the colors of the nature that you would see around us. So as compared to some really primary, strong, bold colors, arts and crafts colors are more about blending in with the surroundings. So my colors are, they tend to be more tertiary, what we call, not primary, but tertiary, the more mixed colors. So it's more subtle, but I still love all kinds of colors.
They're amazing.
So what's your favorite part of owning and working at the Arts and Crafts Press?
You know, it's every day something is different. You know, there's so many challenges. There is not a day, that I don't have some kind of a problem that happens to me I have to solve. So that actually is so much fun. It's exhausting, but it's fun. And then I also like working with younger people. Two of my assistants are both young people. One is 23 and the other person is in her late 20s. So they're very talented. So it's always fun to see how they're learning and they're growing as artists. And then I'm also learning as artist and then bounce ideas back and forth and work together. That's what I like to do, yeah.
So we understand that you do a bunch of different kind of printing. So you do block printing as well as with printing presses.
Yeah.
And we know that you have a variety of printing presses at the printing press.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about them a little bit?
Sure, yeah. So we have all kinds of printing presses, 6 or 7, I can't even count anymore. They sort of appear and disappear, but the oldest press we have is from 1890s. It's called iron hand press, and it's the type that you would have to press like this, and then the impression goes, basically is made between paper and then a block that you put, and then ink is put on the block, and you put the paper over it, and then the squeeze that paper onto the block, and then the impression is made onto the paper. So that's how it works. So that's our oldest press. And then the newest one we have is from 1970s. That's last of the letterpress printing presses that was made. And they really perfected this letterpress printing machines by 1970s. And then after that, actually, they moved on to offset printing. So offset printing is the technology that we were probably you grew up with, or maybe you grew up with digital technology.
Yeah, probably.
So letterpress printing is like basically 2 generations before in terms of the printing technology goes. So, but the idea is that it's a relief printing. So you have the raised area on the block that gets the ink, and then you put the paper over it, and then with a lot of pressure, the image gets transferred to the paper. That's the idea of letterpress printing. So I have all these different presses, some made in Germany, some made in America, and they have all different history and stories and who used to own them. So I'm quite fascinated by them.
So your oldest printing press, you say, is from the 1890s, and that's like sort of, I guess, like the prime of the arts and crafts movement, I'd say. Do you think that it sort of like brings you back and makes it more like authentic arts and crafts using that?
Yeah, I think so. The more involvement, the press from 1890s is not operated by any of the electricity. It's all to do with human power. And then I have another press from 19 teens actually, that now has a treadle, so you have to kick with your feet and then get the press going. So you have more involvement that way. And so, and again, the arts and crafts movement was trying to tell people to go back to pre-industrial age and make it so more fun for the people to work. So yes, it's exhausting to work that way, but you get good exercise too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
With different amounts of human interaction for each press, do you actually have a favorite press?
It's a hard one. All of them have different, functions and the things that I don't like about. For example, like the 1970s press from made in Germany is wonderful. It's state of the art, back then press, but it makes big noise. It goes really fast. It has a mind of its own. So it's like trying to follow that and make sure it acts well. So it's like a babysitting the press at that scale is exhausting. But then treadle press, and that one that we have to kick in order to get it going. That's so really sweet. Presses like that are just so sweet. It just, you want to pamper it, oil it, and grease it, and make sure it's going to last another 100 years.
So cool having their own personalities.
Yeah.
So what led you to the art of letterpress printing?
It happened by happenstance. We were not planning to, I wasn't planning to become a letterpress printer. So, I was studying actually history at UC Berkeley 20 years ago. And I was interested in the arts and crafts movement for my paper. And then my husband and I started writing a book about arts and crafts movement. And then we got all these scholarly articles and wonderful things written about the movement, and we wanted to publish it because we got so many great articles. And then in order to do that, we decided to do it in arts and crafts spirit using old machinery. So we got the old presses, and then that's how I learned to print with letterpress. And then, so it was really not like I was trying to become, I was trying to become an academic, and then it was more fun to do printing. So
Wow, that's awesome.
yeah.
So you said that you studied history at UC Berkeley. We actually did a lot of looking into your education.
Oh my goodness.
So we noticed that you studied a lot of different things. So you studied like music and sculpture as
Yeah.
well. And so we were kind of wondering, do you think that there are any parallels between art forms, like discipline, I'd say, sort of?
There is so much. I really think so. Totally. Yeah. Sometimes, when I'm thinking about prints, I always like to make actually 2-3 prints in one progression because it's like I'm thinking about patterns and then development. And it's the same thing with music. You have the basic theme you start with, and then the development, and then it's like fugue or whatever. It's the same thing. I'm always having that like parallel thought going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So you were talking about how like a lot of the different presses have different like personalities and stuff. Have you found that there's like an important trait that you've had to develop to kind of go with those?
Oh, yes.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Yeah, when I started printing, I wasn't very methodical. I was, I would always like to draw and paint, as a child. And by the time I started printing, when I was about 26 or 27 or whatever, I wasn't that methodical, so I was just enjoying drawing or whatever. But when I had to learn to print, I had to be careful about each step, think about all the things that's going to happen, before it happens, so that I don't put my finger in a press or, think about colors. Because we use, 24 colors for, let's say, for a print. I need to think everything through ahead of time. So it made me a much better person. I can plan things now.
So since you're an illustrator and you're also a watercolor artist?
I do that as a tool, yeah. I'm not very good, but I like to do watercolor. Yeah.
Still do it, and I've seen your art. It's amazing, by the way. Does that help tremendously with the whole letterpress and carving out and getting the right idea and all that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Every time, if I have the watercolor down first for the block print, I feel so secure because it's like meditation or something. You get that all sorted out in your head, whether it's watercolor or even just a little bit of quick sketch. But to have that in the real situation really helps. Sometimes I have to work from photography. Oh, yeah. Yeah, because of some, project requirement or whatever. But it's not the same. You have, when you're at the actual site and be able to sketch and then have even just a little one line or something, you already composed it in your head, right? So, yeah.
And you said that you self-taught yourself to draw and all that?
Yeah, mostly. And then I did go to Japanese art school. So, and then they taught me how to do sculpture and really good basics of drawing, because over there it's really strict about how to get the basics. So that was great training, yeah.
So when you're choosing a piece that you want to work on and you're choosing the medium that you want to use, do you choose the medium based on the subject matter, or do you choose the subject matter based on the medium?
Oh, interesting. I think the subject matter is first chosen usually, and then I would decide which material, medium to use. Yeah. So, I do block printing. Sometimes I use linoleum blocks, and then sometimes I use wood blocks. And it's, because wood blocks, you can do finer lines than linoleum in some way, because it's much harder material. It allows you to be able to do certain things. So it's dictated by material in some way.
Does that carry through with which printing press you decide to use?
Good question. It's actually, that one is a matter of production and like a business decision, actually. Yeah, so some of the block prints, we like to take time and then carefully go through each color one at a time and print each color by hand, because that's the ethos and that's how we like to work. But like greeting cards, we make tons of greeting cards. And those we have to print on our antique, 1970s, that press. Yeah, I guess it's becoming antique now, isn't it? So that press, because it goes much faster. We can print like 3,000 imprints in 1 hour using that press, and a hand cranking you can do maybe 300 at most. So
still a lot.
Yeah, I have really good right arm.
So does your creative process differ from when you have to make a lot of things, or does it generally follow the same outline?
Interesting. So is it by volume? Does it change kind of thing? Volume is actually a good thing sometimes, because it forces you really to refine what you're doing. If I'm doing more like a fewer production number, let's say it's 100, then I'm always still constantly sort of experimenting with that, how much ink I put, so it does change a little bit,
So you said that you self-taught yourself to be an artist. What was your first inspiration? If you No.
Oh my goodness. Well, it's just I always liked to draw. So yeah, that was what it was. But when I was a teenager, in Tokyo, we have this wonderful bookstore areas, like an old bookstore areas called Kanda. And then that actually dates back to 200-300 years ago. And that's where I like to go as a high school, like you, a student. After the school is finished, I would before I go home, I would go there and then start just looking at old books, and then they were selling those the offset cheap reproduction of woodblock prints from 200 years ago, and these are cheap things, and I could buy it for $1 or $2 per piece. And then without knowing, I actually started just collecting them because it was something I could afford, and I liked the composition, and then I still have them today. And then I still actually go back to the amazing compositions from 200 years ago by Hiroshige and Utamaro and all those amazing woodblock printers. So, you never know what what happens, 30 years later. So, so that's, I think, what my inspiration was.
Wow, has your inspiration changed since you started?
I go back, I went away from Hiroshige and other, Utamaro for a few years, and I was doing oil painting and sculpture, but I think there's somewhere in the back of my mind, I still always like the flatness and then the graphic, elements of the woodblock printing. So it's something was always in the back of my mind. So so when I started carving blocks, it was like, homecoming. I knew this is the right thing to do. So
Awesome. So being from Tokyo, how does the arts and crafts community, I guess, in Japan differ from in America, and specifically the Pacific Northwest?
Yeah, well, historically there was arts and crafts movement in Japan too. In the 40s, 1940s and 30s. In Japan, it was more like a folk craft movement. So finding the sort of indigenous art forms, then going back to in Japan, for example, there are Ainu people who are the indigenous people and such. So rediscovery of that was sort of really important. And here, in the Northwest, we have the Native American culture here. And then that was sort of, that was part of the arts and crafts movement as well. Actually, some of the photographers, shot beautiful images of the Native Americans. So there's parallel, definitely.
So why did you decide to move to the U.S.? I know you came to go to college at University College Berkeley.
Actually, I came here because my husband was coming back to the U.S. So just followed. I know. I don't seem to plan things so much in my life. Things happen. So it was really So it was just like a life event that's just taking me to places. So,
And you mentioned how Mount Rainier somewhat reminds you of the Mount Fuji back in Japan. Do you miss that at all?
This is so much better here. You can see the mountain here. The mountain is bigger, more, like a grand, the grandeur is amazing. In Japan, in Tokyo, you can just see, you can barely see Fuji now because of all the, high rise and everything. And if you see anything, it's like a tiny bit. It's just so little, so you feel cheated. But here, it's amazing. So so that's, I love it.
So you were talking about how the arts and crafts movement was something of a call kind of back to the original, human hand working. How do you see that, it's affected you personally, I suppose? Like I was saying, that the form or the artwork of the woodblock printers like Utamaro or Hiroshige felt like coming home, a homecoming. The form itself of the block printing felt like it's homecoming for me. It just made a lot of sense, finally.
I was never comfortable studying sculpture when I was 20 years old in Japan. I didn't want to become a fine artist. Fine artist, I respect those people who are fine artists, but I don't know. For my personality, it didn't just suit me for some reason. Yeah, my grandfather was a carpenter, and my favorite actually memories are spending time at his workshop and playing with the wood shavings, and then all my family members were somehow, around that carpentry. So that's my background. So I feel like arts and crafts movement and doing the handwork sort of allowed me to sort of merge the artistic side that I had and then the craft side that I was brought up with, sort of all together, and then it all made sense. And yeah, so it's such a great form. Yeah.
Okay, so we were kind of wondering also, when people are learning how to embrace their talents, I guess I'd say, or build their talents. So for painting or drawing or printing or playing an instrument or something, do you think it's nurture or nature? So do you think people are born with talents, or it's something that is built up?
It's really both, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, some people you just can't teach them. But you also need to have that environment. It's so important. I have 2 kids, and then they are so different, and they have different talents, and then it's definitely both nurture and nature.
What do they do?
They are both interested in music instruments. One is in cello and one is doing violin, and and they have such different talents. It's fascinating.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So you went, when you were back in Tokyo, you met your husband in a restaurant trying to help him with advertising for his restaurant. What was that whole story?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, he was actually trying. He was, he's just a regular American white guy trying to, manage a Japanese run restaurant. It's a French restaurant. And then he had to learn to speak, Japanese and do accounting in Japanese and deal with all these chefs in Japanese, everything. And then he wanted to redo the menu, and then he turned to me and said, "Oh, can you draw something?" And then I think I was doing some garlic drawing or tomatoes, but they were really bad. We look at them today and I said, "Oh, it was really bad." But yes, I was helping him.
And so then you guys came here, and then you wrote a book about the arts and crafts movement. So what does he help you out with now that you have a full business of arts and crafts?
Yeah, so he's sort of he does 2 things. One is really he's great with the financial side, so he continues to help with the accounting here and there. And then, but the other side is that he has wonderful vision. He has much bigger vision than I ever would. So we really divide our work. He tends to be the brain and I tend to be the hand. And then, we sort of put it all together. So yeah, it's good to bounce ideas back and forth with somebody so different. So
you always need that person.
So we understand that you have some artwork with you.
Oh,
Can you show us?
So I just wanted to bring some of the blocks just to show you, because when we talk about block printing, it's sort of hard to convey how each color is printed. So, for example, this is the finished print of the.
Do you want to hold it up?
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's a Colorado Street Bridge in Pasadena, California. And so this one has about 13 different colors. And then, so when we have all the different colors, they need to be printed separately from different, each hand-carved blocks. So here is the block for the sky section. You can see next to each other here. And you can, I left the gradation on the ink on here so you can see how we put the ink on it. And so that's that.
And then create that gradient.
Actually, we have the oscillating roller, and then we put the darker color on the top, and then the lighter color, and then that is sort of perfectly merged.
super cool.
Yeah, and then this one is the one before here, so you can see the difference. And then this one, for example, to show another example, here's the purple color that goes into the part of the tree. Yeah. And then obviously all the images are reversed, so it has to be when it's printed, it comes out as reverse. So, yeah.
Do you travel to these places?
Yes, I do. Yeah, this is actually one of my favorite spots in Pasadena, so that's why I did a sketch a while ago. So
Makes sense. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Well, will you continue to create art? More art than like expand your horizon.
I guess so. Yeah. Otherwise, I can't imagine not moving my, doing something with hands. I think some people are that way. So, yeah, definitely.
So what do you see happening for the Arts and Crafts Press in 2018?
Well, we have really exciting project right now. I just got a commission from Patagonia, the clothing company, and they are sending me to Molokai Island in Hawaii to do a book illustration for their wonderful book I'm illustrating. It's called Paddling with My Own Canoe, and it's written by Audrey Sutherland, and she was doing her solo trips in 1960s, and she just went to all these amazing places that usually people can't get to by herself. And so I'll be going there and doing a quick research in January, and then we'll be making 12 different woodblock prints for Patagonia. So that's hard actually, because they are giving me only 3 months to do this project. And usually, block print like this takes a month, so each one. So yeah, so I have to figure out how I'm going to do this so quickly. Awesome. So that's the first part of 2018.
Okay, well, we want to thank you for coming
thank
today.
you.
We really had a lot of fun talking to you.
Thank you.
You have a lot of great insights.
Great questions.
Awesome.
Thank you.